Okay, so we're going to kind of shotgun this. I don't have a. Hey guys, my name is Jason Valentine, and I have a business opportunity that I'm looking to ideally, ultimately prospect for potential business partners for what I feel is an extraordinarily large and tremendous opportunity to dial into a market that is pretty much only monopolized by one company that just topped $1 billion. And this system literally will, in fact, be able to directly compete with that company. In fact, not only compete with them, but likely be able to create a larger profit margin. But it is also dispersed between the different partnerships. So inevitably there's still profit margin, but $1 billion goes a long way. That's a tremendous feat to start and get to from pretty much ground zero, but there is already the established format and foundation of what we are establishing. So I've kind of mulled over some ways to approach this for you guys, just because the business model is not traditional, but I do find from my research that it is becoming more and more popular as a successful business platform and way of doing business. In some shape or form, it's like an employee-owned profit share operation. Due to the ownership properties with every facet virtually, depending on as it extends through the system. But at the top level, there's predominant ownership, anywhere from maybe 3 owners to 20. It really kind of depends on the consensus from the partnership at the start, at the top. But those ownership positions will start with a first come, kind of first serve. I'm looking at a bidding process. You know, if you look over everything that we're doing and if you find suitable for something you want to get more interested in or get invested in, obviously we can go from there. I don't have an NDA agreement, so I'm really not too concerned about that, because I don't personally think any of you or any of myself or anyone out there could truly duplicate what we're doing without a team element. And if you're going to do that anyway, you might as well involve someone that's developed the system like myself or understands it. So I'm trying to teach it to some degree. There are some factors that I'm not completely versed on, and I could say that kind of correlates to some of the legalities. But as far as the infrastructure, it is copying an already very successful model of some companies that are worldwide, in fact. And nonetheless, so we're going to look at some bidding and as well as not auction off, but a bidding process somehow to get the right people on board, because I'm not looking for just capital. We don't just need capital. We need business savvy, aggressive business entrepreneurs that want to succeed at this, and they are passionate about being a partner with it. So, you know, we need an operational element too, that someone that is very able to take on the position as well as invest some capital into the process. So so the benefit of this is, you know, it's a team element. We have, you know, we could have numerous owners that we all win or we all lose together. And I can tell you the winning factor is very strong. And following what we have put together so far could inevitably lead to an extraordinary path for any people that are potentially on board at the beginning stages. You know, it's no different than investing in something, let's say you're buying you're buying something to get money back in return. You're investing in a product. Well, is the product going to sell? Is it a quality product? What are the learning curves? All these things that we've pretty much taken care of. There's a little to no room for failure, but that concept of ownership and capitalizing on selling your very own thing. That's why so many people are aspiring to be their own owners, their own business, and owning their own business. And or you could take the approach of being the person that's driving the car, and when you're done, you maybe collect 1% or 0.0001% of any potential growth factor when you're working and employed for someone. Yes, you have the security of the vehicle and the maintenance and everything's being taken care of. You drive the vehicle, but how many people, when they're said and done, especially nowadays with no pensions, no real wow factor beneficials, that you're going to get anything after you're done with a career that you've devoted how many years to a business? And this is plenty of you out there. So there's very little to low risk. You show up and you do whatever you can to participate in their system and excel, hopefully with raises and whatnot. But we all know that, yes, you get that kind of free ride of not being in survival mode, or you take the higher risk, calculated higher risk area where, a calculated risk executed properly, I find, is your most mammoth opportunity. How many things can you buy out there that are worn down, torn up, a used house, used cars? You go in there, you put some money into it, you're looking at an extraordinary return on your investment. So, but that's where the risk factor is. So anyway, I'll move forward. So let's see here. What we do and what this is gutter protection. There are probably virtually hundreds of different manufacturers out there right now currently manufacturing this high demand product. So it is a growing trend with this industry. And to be honest with you, when I got involved in it, I had no clue that this was even a thing. I owned a house that had gutters, but we had very ample to no trees. In fact, now that I reflect back, which it was many years ago, because I rent now, I don't even think we had gutters. But nonetheless, my parents had gutters. I didn't realize that this was such a big, prominent industry that is growing more and more. Gutter protection in general is, in my opinion, a diamond in the rough, and there's a lot of people in this industry that would agree as well, predominantly because we are targeting, and the interested customers are typically retirees, 50 and above. Some younger couples or just new homeowners that maybe find the time factor much more incentive for them to invest in a gutter protection system. Considering all the variables, it's dirty, you got to get on a ladder. The arguments come down to, oh yeah, I can just clean out my gutters and, get the ladder out, climb up there and clean them out real fast. Sure, you got to do that. And sure, you can do it cheap, but you're doing it every year for as long as you own your home. And then, some of the sellability of it is, what are you worth to your family, and all the ladder falling accidents and statistics. That is a very plausible argument, because is it really worth it? I personally believe the biggest commodity in this time and age, 2020, is time. Time is probably the next biggest commodity that people, or I feel is one of the biggest commodities. People want time. People are working 2-3 jobs, this, that, and the other, and they want the freedom. And so investing in a gutter protection system, especially if they have a home that they're retired and this is their home, they want to maybe live till they pass away, they want everything. They got typically, traditionally, probably money in the bank. I mean, not everybody, but as far as the demographic of any particular homeowner, those are the particular clients that are not going to climb on a ladder. They just want to solve the problem of their gutters overflowing and have it done right. So it came to me when I was approached, or I had introduced myself to, or found, I should say, I ran into the number one performing selling product in the nation, leaf filter. And I was literally blown away at not only their volume of what they were selling, but as a former contractor installer, the amount of workload that I had given, and the pay as well. It was virtually too good to be true, but after many years in the business, I see how they conducted and how they got to where they got, or how they got to where they're at right now. And